Hey, what's going on, family? It's your boy Indigo, and I'm here with a technical analysis video on Plume. I promised I was going to do this on Sunday. Hopefully, you caught that video. I promised I was going to do some technical analysis in the middle of the week on the Plume network, and I'm here delivering on that promise. So, if you're here again, if you caught that video on Sunday, thank you for being here again. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Make sure you leave a like on this video and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on these videos when I release these videos again, okay? And if you do have any questions, the comment section is open, so drop as many questions or whatever question you'd like to ask in the comment section, and I promise I will get to them all. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, let's get into some technical analysis. All right, cool. So yeah, so I just thought it would be important. Well, important, but I thought it would be significant for us to have a look at the macro. At the macro aspect of Plume, using a one-day chart on the Binance network, on the Binance exchange, excuse me. So yeah, so this is the one-day chart on Binance with an anchored VWAP from the beginning of, from the 18th of August to date. The VWAP for me, I use this indicator to show me whether things are overbought or oversold. Okay. The bands that we have on top here, the green lines that we have at the top and at the bottom, are standard deviation bands. This is how I would determine whether an asset is oversold, overbought at the top, or oversold at the bottom. Okay. I use this in the futures markets as well when I'm doing my analysis on the futures market, except when I am working on the futures market, when I'm making my trades on there, I do not typically have the lower bands. All right. So what you would see if you come and watch my videos as I'm trading would be something that looks like this. Just the volume weighted average price, right? Which is this blue line. Okay, so typically what happens in the futures markets and in markets in general is that when participants sell or buy, the auction up to the VWAP, which is this blue line, they either continue the auction up or they continue the auction down. They sell it, or they buy it up. Okay. So yeah, so these standard deviations, I just thought it'd be important for us to have a look at the macro using these standard deviation bands. Reason being, well, if you look at it from here, this is the 5th of October. Let's just zoom into that. It's going to make sense in a little bit. Just sit tight. If you have a look at it here, from the 5th of October, we had this massive bullish action up, and then we had this massive bearish candle down. Yeah, so the open of it was there. This was on the 10th of October. And if you been in the markets, you will remember the 10th of October as a very significant day across all markets, because this was a Trump tweet. And it was a Trump tweet that sent everything down. I mean, across futures, gold went down, silver went down. Like this particular candlestick is there on everything, 100% guaranteed. I don't even need to pull up another chart, but just, for your own exercise, you can go and have a look at it. But that's what this was. Yeah. Hence the massive wick. And, so we opened around 0.10246 and then we closed at 0.07096. Even though we had this massive wick down, the market still closed here. Yeah. After that, again, looking at the standard deviation bands, we're still oversold here, right? Nothing moving towards VWAP, everything selling the standard deviation band, right? This is from the 10th of October, scrolling, going, and you can see price hasn't actually made any strong moves towards the volume weighted average price or to that first standard deviation band, except for here on the 26th of November. But everything was just extremely oversold on Plume, right? And now here's where it starts to get interesting. This is right throughout December, moving. And if you're actually paying attention, if you can notice, you'll see that price is catching up to the standard deviation band, or you could say the standard deviation band is catching up to price, right? When we get to a point where price then crosses that negative standard deviation band, this lower green line over here, this is where I could say that the participants are actually starting to become a little bullish, right? Reason being, well, we're now within a deviation of price, whereas all along we were on the outside, right? Just selling it strongly. And then come March, all of a sudden, we're starting to move within the standard deviation band. This is gonna be very interesting to watch over the next couple of months, I think. Yeah. So this is what I just wanted to highlight and show you guys. Not to give you guys financial advice or anything, but from the way that I'm looking at it, as I'm just like looking at the macro, it is starting to look bullish. Yeah, I've always kind of found that market participants leave clues. At least the market leaves clues as to what's going on. Without this, without the volume weighted average price, without the VWAP, honestly, it would be almost impossible to tell whether we're getting any bullish action or not, right? Because all of this looks super horizontal. Am I right? So am I right? This doesn't look significant, so again, just throwing the anchored VWAP on there. And then now you start to see that, oh, okay, wait, hold on. Actually, price is starting to move within the standard deviation bands. And this is significant, even just like from the distance that we are, the distance that price is from the VWAP, the blue line, we're getting closer towards the VWAP, or the VWAP is getting closer to price. Still significant, and then the second thing that I really wanted to show you guys was this. I drew this horizontal line, this vertical line rather. This is the 20th of May, right? And I want to show you guys this. I found this super interesting. Let's just turn that off for a little bit. This is PR Newswire. Plume secures Bermuda digital asset license, launching the world's first regulated vaults. All right. I mean, anytime I see anything about being the first of something, right, I always go into the charts to see what type of reaction that gave the market, or that what type of reaction was there for that particular asset in the market. Yeah. So yes, I mean, like, the technical analysis is also kind of like fundamental analysis as well. Like, the fundamentals are almost as important. I might leave a link for this as well in the description, so that you guys can go and check it out and read through it if you'd like. But what was significant to me was just like the date. This is May 2026. Yeah. So actually not too long ago. But let's go back into the charts, and now let's see what happened on the 20th, right? On the 20th of May. Now this is where we're going to come into this chart over here. Now this is the 1 hour chart, still Plume, right? Nothing's changed here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off the anchored VWAP so that we don't have that green highlighting. And now we're going to come here. We're going to come to the 20th of May. Okay. This is Wednesday, the 20th of May. I'm going to switch that on. And what we have over here is we have a volume profile. Okay. Again, if you follow me as I'm, trading the futures markets, you will see that I use the volume profile a lot. This is a very important tool for my trading. It's a very important tool. What the volume profile does for me is it shows me where market participants are located, and it also shows me where the most amount of volume was transacted within an asset, right? Why would that be important? Well, for one, if you know where volume has been, or if you know where volume has been, right, then you have a better understanding of whether we're moving up or whether we're moving down. Okay, your understanding of whether something is bearish or bullish becomes a lot more clearer when you're using a volume profile, right? So this was the news event, okay, on the 20th. This was from midnight. That news event came out at 10 a.m., I believe. It said 10 a.m. my time. So around about here from 10. Let's zoom in so that you guys can see clearly what actually transpired. I mean, you can see, we've been bullish since, but like, I mean, again, 10 a.m. we have that news event, and really we just kind of like, rallied up. And this is the point of control, the orange line. This is the point of control. This is where the most amount of volume was transacted. Okay, this orange line. And this was between Wednesday, the 20th of May, and last week, Wednesday, the 27th of May. Right. Now, having a look at this just by itself might not seem as significant until you see the prior week's volume. Okay. Now, this is the previous week's volume. Again, with the volume profile drawn from Wednesday, the 6th of May to Wednesday, the 20th of May. All right. So that's about 2 weeks worth of price action. All right. I could bring this a lot closer, and we just show 1 week's worth of volume. Just moving that closer to, there we go. Significant spike volume. Yeah. Again, from the point of control is the orange line. Okay. So that's the area where the most amount of volume was created within this particular asset. Okay. So this is at 0.01167, and then we get the news event the following week, and then the most amount of volume that gets transacted after that is at 0.01462. Even just looking at the orange lines just by themselves, you can see there's a pretty significant jump up in price, right? From this area over here, 0.0167 to 0.01462. All right, that's pretty significant. And now that we're in this current week, now I'm going to put on another volume profile, right, just to show where we are from the previous weeks as well. Okay. Again, this is pre-news event, volume profile number 1. This is post-news event, right? Just after the news event happened. And then this is the price action from the week before yesterday. Okay, so going from Wednesday to Wednesday, right? So yesterday's Wednesday, this was the price action from that. And this is also still pretty significant because the volume is clearly still higher than the prior week's volume. Okay. So again, it is showing some bullish momentum, right? It's showing some bullish momentum. If it was a thing of where I was looking for potential places to long or to buy in this particular asset, right, I would wait, maybe for price to break the 0.01368 area. For again, if you're scalping and you're just looking for short moves, maybe from 0.1368 to the top of this volume profile, 0.01605. Again, different strokes for different folks, right? There are people who are going to be holding this long term and who just really want to know whether we're getting any positive moves, or if we're getting any positivity in the market, or if there's positive sentiment at least surrounding this project, right? So there are clues, and there's small things that you can put onto your charts, right, for you to get an indication as to how the market is responding to different news events. Yeah. Or how the market is responding in relation to previous market activity. So yeah, not too many things that I showed you really, for to be honest. I mean, it is really just the macro as we were looking at it over here on from the Anchored VWAP. Again, just looking at the macro from a 1 day perspective and just seeing how we're reacting in relation to the standard deviation bands. And then again, just looking at how prices be moving in relation to volume from week to week, and I only really anchored from Wednesday because Wednesday was the day. Wednesday the 20th was the day we got like a pretty significant news event for Plume. So hence the three volume profiles. But yeah, I mean, if you are buying to hold, diamond hands, hold for as long as you possibly can. At least that's what I would do. Again, it's never financial advice. Yeah, because you guys aren't really paying me for it, are you? But yeah, but it's not financial advice. It never will be. But do with the information as you see best. I think that's pretty much going to be it from me, guys. I mean, yeah. If you do have any questions, just drop them in the comment section. If there's more that you'd like for me to have a look at, or if you'd like for me to get into this like a lot deeper, or if you'd like for me to get into explanations as to how the volume profiles work and why I use them and how I use them and how I frame them and how I make them, just leave it in the comment section, and then we'll figure it out together. But yeah, this has been great. This has been fantastic. I will be live again tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow during the New York session, 9:30 EST. Actually, tomorrow we're going to be live from 9 a.m. EST. Sorry, I'm doing the conversion in my head. But we're going to be live from 9 a.m. EST. So come and watch live. Come and see me trade the S&P 500 live, and yeah, and maybe you'll get a deeper explanation as to how we are looking at these markets. But for me, it's been absolutely great. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and yeah, I'll be sure to catch you on the next one. All right, cheers, guys.